Greetings, everyone. Welcome to Judah Reigns. I hope that your day provides you with enlightenment, courage, and serenity as appropriate. So, I want to speak to you today regarding, of course, what's going on in the world and how it relates to the future of the establishment of True New Jerusalem. I just finished praying, and I am also in the middle of my meditation, but again, I received a download from the Most High regarding the matters of perfection and goodwill versus imperfection and troubles. So, as I was praying, I realized something at a deeper level that I've always known, and some of you will definitely concur with this, is that what we are suffering now, of course, and the imperfection of it all, and the hard labors that we're under was not what the Most High intended for us. And when you look around this world, actually, let me correct myself. When you look around the planet, you can readily see remnants of how easy our lives were supposed to be. Our lives were supposed to be something filled with joy and relaxation and serenity, and enough sun and enough rain and enough wind and enough coolness and enough warmth, enough love, or rather an overabundance of it in our environment. And for many of us, and maybe in yesterday years before this journey, I would have been like, that just doesn't, what? That's nonsense. Or more troubling, I would have reacted to this thing as, you're just being lazy. You're talking about being lazy and not doing anything. But no, that is not the case. When the Creator made this world, and I'm going to say the Creator's Elohim, there is something interesting in the regarding of that the Most High opened my eyes to at a deeper level. So in Genesis, it goes in detail, great detail, about how the Most High, the creators of the universe, the creators of our planet, took great care in seeing to it that everything that is central to a viable planet was there already and working perfectly. And every time that they made something, they always looked at it, monitored it for a little bit, and then said, yep, it's good, it's working all right. But here's the part that really interests me. And this is in chapter 1 of Genesis. And I'm going to read from 28 on down to 31. It says, and that's again chapter 1 in Genesis. It says, further, God blessed them, and God said to them, be fruitful and become many, and fill the earth and subdue it, and have in subjugation the fish of the sea and the flying creatures of the heavens, and every living creature that is moving upon the earth. And God went on to say, or the Elohim went on to say, here I have given to you all vegetation bearing seeds, which is on the surface of the whole earth, and every tree on which there is the fruit of a tree bearing seed. To you let it serve as food. Verse 30, and to every wild beast of the earth, and to every flying creature of the heavens, and to everything moving upon the earth, in which there is life as a soul, I have given all vegetation for food. And it came to be so. And verse 31, after that, the Elohim saw everything they had made, and look, it was very good. And there came to be an evening, and there came to be a morning. So the reason why I'm getting emotional right now, because what this speaks to me, The reason why this is so poignant to me, because it just hit me now that the Most High did all the work. The creators of the universe, Elohim, did all the work, and then they just handed it right over to us. They did not say, well, you got to do this. You got to punch a clock and you got to work all these hours and I'm going to make you work and create more work and then not pay you nothing. But they gave it over. They just simply gave it over for our pleasure. They didn't do the whole sweat of the brow. The only thing that they uh, that they gave that can be considered as work is simply, if anything, it would be the care of the animals, just to take care of the earth, to maintain it. I mean, and here's the thing, again, in verse 31, it says, after that, God, or the Elohim, saw that everything that they had made was good, and they came to be an even in a day. Okay, in verse 2 it says, thus the heavens and the earth and all, oh, where was it? Okay, it says in, actually in chapter 2, verse 2, it says, and by the seventh day, the Elohim came to the completion of their work that they had made, and they proceeded to rest on the seventh day for all the labors or the work that they had made. So the only one that was really working around here was the creators. Can you believe that? And the reason why my eyes are really open about this is because it makes me see what New Jerusalem will be about. I think that with Satan and the hatefulness that he had, and the fallen angels, and the hatefulness that they had in their minds and their hearts, they gave that out to certain human beings on the planet. They anointed certain human beings on the planet, and those human beings working in close proximity with Satan and the demons or the fallen angels. They have completely and perfectly made the lives of everybody on this planet horrible. They have driven us and driven us, working, working, working. There is nothing that you can enjoy without you having to pay the price of breaking your back in order to obtain it. And here's the selfishness of this, that those that have given, those humans that had given themselves over to Satan, the demons, what we hear now is that they don't work. They absolutely do not work, and they hoard the wealth and even the beautified parts that still remain on this planet. They hoard it to themselves. It is a thing of selfishness and self-serving. It has no love in it. They can't love you. They can't even love their children and their spouses with that kind of rot in their heart. And that's what we have been ruled over, and that is what has to be removed. And this is why the powers of the world is being snatched from these people. Now, and also what the Most High brings up for me too is that the reason why, even in my own life, where I feel like I gotta work or I'm not worthy, or because right now I am devoting most of my time to the study of the Most High's Word and what has happened, what is happening today, and how it relates to our future. And all my days are filled with that. And each day, although I'm getting better, there's still this little twang of, well, this thing has to be taken care of, and that thing has to be taken care of, and I gotta go out there and I gotta do X, Y, and Z. And I believe what the Most High keeps bringing to my mind, especially and even today, is that no, I did not. That was not my original plan for humanity. Was not to drive you like a little workhorse. I had given instructions and it was simple. It was just to maintain and probably build upon, maybe to see what we would come up with, and to create all over the earth. And do you know, that I was watching a YouTube video regarding that. Again, they call it Tartaria, but I'm going to be showing you some pictures right now. And this particular narrator was discussing how throughout North and South America that there were remnants just after the Civil War, and even before that. I'm going to say even with the unfounding fathers, when they came in, what they came into was structures and well built cities that blew anything that Europe and even Africa had in their coffers. And so, in this particular YouTube video, and I'll put the name up regarding that video if you want to take a look at it. The narrator went over and over again about how astonishing it was that that the excavators that were digging up the remnants of this civilization, in particularly in the Brazil, which is the what do you call it, the Amazon forest, which is a large swath of South America, right? And so when they went in there in like 18, I think it was like it was just at the Civil War, 1865, 1870s, and they started, excavating, they found time and time again that the Amazon was not a natural phenomenon, that the Amazon had all kinds of footprints of it being created by human hands. And that really what it is, and this is what the Most High downloaded to me, was that our ancestors, my ancestors who were already here, had went into that part of the nation, and more than not, of course, throughout North America as well. And they cultivated the soil in such a way that it grew fruit trees, it grew ornamental trees. They carved out the way that the water would run. They built cities, and they were saying that the way that they cultivated the soil, when you look at the pictures of it, the soil is like stories deep. And the narrator was calling it black soil, and that it wasn't native to that part of the world. And so they were sending those messages and those findings back to Europe. And of course, Europe would acknowledge it, but then they would bury the information. And so now, during this time that we live in, all of this stuff is being brought out. And I think about that. I think about the notion where it says in the Bible that the begetting of the lie, beget to believe the lie. Or it says in the Bible, the book of John, chapter 8, verse 44, it says, "You belong to your father, the devil, and you want to carry out your father's desires. He was an unaliver from the beginning, not holding to the truth, for there is no truth in him. When he lies, he speaks his native tongue, for he is a liar and the father of lies. And his children are the same way, and they have lied throughout this whole globe for centuries, for millennia. They have lied and lied and lied." So for many Black people, old heads and new and young ones, it's going to be really, really hard for us. I hope not, but maybe for too many of us, I would say, not for all of us, but too many of us, I think that we're going to have a hard time accepting that we're not supposed to work each other to the bone. And here's the thing, because of what has happened to us and we being turned against one another, there are some of us out here who want to settle scores, unfortunately. Some of us may even be found in Christ's Kingdom Administration. Some, obviously, in the populace that really believe that someone else should be having their nose to the grindstone and should be working this and that and thus. And And I'm telling you that that's not going to apply. That's not going to work because it's about healing and it's about restoration. We may have to get used to the notion that we will not be working. And it's not that we'll be lazy. No, it's just that the mechanism of what these wicked, demonic, Satan worshiping people who have been in charge far longer than what they ought to have been have built a construct out where we punch time clocks, or where if we try to do our own business, we almost have to work ourselves to the point of being unalived. Where people who are, when I was in healthcare, many business owners, especially black ones, they were having heart attacks left and right, or strokes, or there was some type of cancer that they had to deal with when they got to the middle part in their 40s, 50s, and 60s of their lives. And they would always come in and say, yeah, I own this, and yeah, I own that. But in doing so, they nearly worked themselves to death. And some they actually did. They actually did. It's really something that those of us when that live into our 80s and our 90s, or even to 100, um, you know. Now, of course, those who were slaves, or ancestors who are slaves, they had a imperfection that was not as deep as what we have right now. But even their children and grandchildren who just worked an average job, they seem to live. They seem to live. Just if they're a postman or they worked in a factory, they just seem to live long years. And I think that's due to the restraint and the constraints that we have been placed on us. But we also suffer so many ailments from being in this wicked system. I will not deny that. There's a lot that we have to heal from. So that score, I think, will be curved to a great degree, and that the outlay of what the inhabitants of New Jerusalem is going to be one of rest and just be able to breathe. I believe that the Most High is going to put something in the atmosphere that it will reduce the tendency of violence in us. And because many of the things that we're breathing in now, and this is coming from everybody, is to make us sick, right? And so the Most High is going to, there's technology out there that we can filter and clean out the air. We may have to live under a dome for a little while. And I believe that there's technology for that, where you can just put up a dome where nobody from the outside can come in. And for a period of time, nobody inside can go out, because some people are going to be upset too. Unfortunately, some of us are going to be upset for whatever reason and will be wanting to leave. But at some point, that will not be permitted. But the main thesis that I'm saying here is that when you think about it, the Most High had done the majority of the work, and had been working like a dog, either the pair of them or the group of them, in order to create the environment, the solar system, and the earth itself, to where all the original purpose was, for the beginning, was just to get to know the earth and to cultivate it, to get it under our control, and lord over the animals, not in cruelty but in love. And that's where it stopped. Where it goes from there, I don't know. But the space is pretty big, and so we have I'm sure, a profound destiny ahead of us. But for the most part, what I want to say is about the rest, and that our sense of working the way that we have been working will be cut off. We will not be punching a clock. And so whoever is that part of Crisis Kingdom Administration, I can't wait to see what the Most High has revealed to them about the nations, about the 12 tribes, when we are all gathered together in New Jerusalem, what the outlay for these ones will be for us. I'm really excited right now to know, and it will not be about making you a slave. But I know it will have something to do with our recovery, right? And getting right in our mind, body, and spirit. So I just wanted to bring that to you. That the original commandment and the first commandment was basically to bring everything that the Most High under our thumb, and ultimately, what that means is to organize it and to make it doable and workable for everyone involved. The animals will do what they will do, but to cultivate them, to have them move in such a way that it will fit everything, all the pieces together, right? And so those ones who were a part of that, by the way, remember during the time of Adam and Eve, the male and the female were already doing what they were doing. You have to think that way, even though it's not written in the Holy Scripture, in the Holy Text. We can surmise again that in the east of Eden there was also a north and a south and a west, and then the rest of the planet. So we can surmise that those people, our people actually, were actually doing other things. And according to this particular researcher, and those white men and women who came over here and they were looking at what had happened, they found it, by the way, and I'll just finish with this, they found it in ruins. So when you're looking at these pictures, you'll see the aftermath of what have been a war or a battle, and a very mighty battle that had been fought, that had actually decimated a lot of these structures, and it wasn't done by the white hand. That's another thing that's going to come out. And so, no, we will not be working in the manner that we have had to work under Satan's dominion. Work is going to be something totally different. And I think the first part of that, and what many of us, including myself, is experiencing, and I believe a lot of Christ's kingdom anointed ones are experiencing the same thing as rest, where we have been called out of, for the time being, out of corporate America, so to speak. All right. Thank you for listening.